rational expressions, guys. So we want to multiply these two problems. So we dealt with the same problem in another video, and we dealt with in a different way. So that's a different method, but this one also is another method. So I spoke about it and I said there are two methods to do that, and one is, this one here. So what does that just mean? So we have 35 a to the second power times b to the 6 over 10 times a to the 7th power times b to the second power times negative 15 times b to the third power over 21 a times b. All right? So this is what we have right now that we want to multiply. So one way of doing it is to multiply straight across. Multiplying those two numbers. Those two expressions. All right? 2 here, and then we're good. All right? So if we take 35, all right, so let's go for it. So if you take 35 times 15, because this is what actually you'll be doing, is to do the actual problem. If you don't have calculator, it's tedious, but that's what you got to do. So 5 and this is what we have. So this is 525, all right? So when we multiply, we get 525, okay? And then when we multiply 10 by 21, we end up with 210, okay? We good? All right, so let's go at it. So here, so let's put it down here. So we end up with 525 for the top expression. And because that's a negative, we have to carry the negative sign with us, okay? And then when we have 10 times 21, that would give us 210. All right, so for the numbers, this is what it is. And now you're going to have to reduce those numbers. Again, you're not using calculators. It's going to be tedious, but that's what you're going to have to do. Okay? So now when it comes to the variables, so because we multiply straight across, so a squared has nobody to play with. So it stays a squared on the top. All right? And then a to the 6th times a to the 3rd. Because we multiply, what do we do with the powers? We add the powers. Remember those rules? Okay? So it's going to be b 6 plus 3. All right, so we have this in previous videos before where you can go back to our YouTube channel and then you type in solving for expressions when they have the same base, and simplifying them up. So you're going to find these problems, okay? All power rules and things like that. Now, so here, also the bottom here, so we have a. So this is a 7 times a, what? A1. Because if there's no number on top of the base, we always claim that invisible one, okay? Same thing for this one here. So if we don't have the 1 there, we claim that 1. So that would give us what? A, 7 plus 1, which is going to give us what? 8, okay? Or I can just go back and then put it neatly, 7 plus 1, okay? So we can go step by step, okay? And then the bottom here, so we have B, 2 plus 1 on here. We good so far? Okay, so let's go at it. Now, 525 divided by 2 and 10. So it's not an obvious, simplification to do here, but, one after the other, we'll be able to do it. So if we're dividing 525 by 5, for example, because the number ends with 5, the number ends with 0, that means they are divisible by 5. That's a tip that you need to keep in mind. When the number ends with 5 and then the other number ends with 0, they are divisible by 5. And then after that, you get going. So you guys, I give you an assignment now to do that on the side. All right, but the answer here is going to be negative 5 over 2 afterwards. Okay? After working it out, you're going to get negative 5 over 2. So we don't need to do all these problems there. All right? So then we continue. So we have A2, all right, because A still doesn't play with anybody. And then B is what? 6 plus 3 is 9 over. Then we have A, 7 plus 1, which is 8. And then 2 plus 1, which is 3. Okay? Are we seeing what's happening here now? So we're getting close to it. And then now we can work with this one here now. So we divide it. And when we divide, what do? We move the lowest power to the largest power so that we can always end up with a positive exponent. That's the reason why we do the lowest to the largest. On this channel, Otherwise, you can do it however you know how to do it. It's also fine. All right, so here we have negative 5 still over 2. Okay, and then the lowest to the largest, so that means we have a 8 minus 2. Because whenever the variable moves with the power sign changes to the opposite. So because this is a positive 2, when you move it down, it becomes negative 2. All right? And then for this one, which one is moving? The 3, because 3 is smaller than 9. So it's going to give you what? B 9 minus 3, because the 3 now goes up, becomes a negative 3, because again, it moved. Anytime the power with the variable moves, it changes the power. Okay? So then once we come back here, so what's happening? This is then equal to negative 5 over 2. That one is given. And then B, 9 minus 3, which is 6. Okay? And then 8 minus 2, which is also 6. So it's 8, 6. So we end up with negative 5b to the power 6 divided by 2a power 6. And we cannot do further because we want to keep our numbers as a fraction, not a decimal. Okay? If the problem asks to go for a decimal, so 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, but we don't need to do that. So we keep it like that for the numbers. And for the variables, b and a are 2 different bases. Okay? So 2 different variables. So if we divide in, we cannot work on the powers when it comes to that. We only work on the powers when we have the same base. Okay? When we're multiplying or dividing. Everybody good? All right.